Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our NAT web session in the series Safe Blood Fridays. Today, we have with us our speaker, Mr. Ranjit Desai. He is the Manager Applications at MyLab Discovery Solutions with more than 12 years of experience in molecular diagnostics and biotechnology. Mr. Ranjit has trained more than 45 molecular laboratories and blood banks in their setup and certification. He is one of the key players in the development and getting CDSCO approval for our Asia's first ever NAT testing kit, NATSpot, for TTIs. He has also mentored numerous government medical college employees regarding RT-PCR methods across Maharashtra. Welcome, Ranjit. In our today's session, we would be focusing on setting up a NAT lab in limited space. I would request all participants to drop any questions in the Q&A section and we will address them at the end of the web session. I would now request Ranjit to take this session forward. Ranjit, you're on mute. Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Dipti, for a brief introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, MyLab, for giving this opportunity. And I'll share my screen.
Yes.
We'll start with our presentation. So it is visible?
Yes.
Yeah, it is visible to everyone.
Can you just keep it on full screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, today's topic for the webinar, as everyone knows, we are. It's a full screen.
Yes.
Please pardon. Yeah, can we start?
Yes.
Dipti, can we start?
Yes, yes, Ranjit.
Yeah. So this is the ongoing series for the NATSpot. So this is the fourth session we are going to conduct here. And today's topic of webinar is to setting up a NAT lab in a limited space. So everyone knows about after a pandemic. So we are familiar with the PCR and the molecular things. So, but everyone will be not aware about the lab and the unidirectional flow and what is the space required for the making the molecular laboratory. So that is I'm going to discuss in the coming slides. Yeah. So introduction to the molecular laboratory. The molecular laboratory has become a growing part of the clinical laboratory. So after post-pandemic, again, the PCR and everyone knows about the RNA, DNA. So what we actually do in the molecular laboratory is to identify the disease with the help of the tools like PCR and RT-PCR. But for that, we require adequate space, appropriate equipment, qualified personnel to establish the molecular laboratory. And not only in the NAT, but these can be used in many public health, pharmaceutical industry, forensic and biological laboratories. But the major part is to design for the molecular laboratory because the compatibility with the mechanical barriers to prevent the contamination, which is the most common issue in the molecular laboratory, as PCR is more susceptible to the contamination. So we need to have the special separation of pre and post amplification work areas. So each area should be facilitated with the adequate requirements such as unidirectional flow. You want a maintenance of air pressure, a temperature and humidity, as we are handling all the nucleic acids. So it is very temperature sensitive. The reagents which we handle in the NAT lab or any molecular lab, again, a temperature sensitive. The ventilation, the biosafety we use, it should have an exhaust, electrical outlet, the power backup system. An efficient molecular laboratory setup is crucial for attaining maximum efficiency with the minimum effort. So to show you how the general design of molecular lab looks like. So initially we used to have 1,000 to 1,500 square feet laboratory. In that we have a separate room for sample reception. So again, the nucleic acid extraction. Then once you get your nucleic acid, then the master mix preparation, and combine that in between a template addition room is separately required. In that, again, you need to have the laminar hood, refrigerators, centrifuge, small freezer, pipette, vortex. So many kinds of equipments you need in each room. Again, after template addition, you need to have a separate amplification room area, that is a PCR and post PCR. Generally, we call as a dirty room in molecular terms. So the clean room, the master mix preparation, and the extraction room will consider as a clean room, and the amplification PCR and post PCR considered as a dirty area in a molecular language. So it requires almost 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. So as the topic says, the NAT lab. So we need to know the significance of molecular test in the blood banks. So currently in a blood bank, generally blood donors for transfusion transmitted infections that we call as the TTIs has evolved rapidly. And however, these tests are not able to detect infected blood donors in a window period. So the window period will be a period from where actually your infection happens, and to detect, to generate that a particular antigen in your body, it takes around few days for particular virus. For HIV, it takes around 20 to 18 days. HBV, it takes around 40 days. So the real-time PCR is the method which can detect early compared to other serological tests. So that is the window period. So, but because of, though we have a good test, we have a good facility, but because of the in developing countries, because of the high equipment capital cost to set up a NAT screening facility, even the high running cost due to the imported reagents, we have not seen many blood banks with the NAT testing. So though we have a lot of blood banks, but with the serology testing, but it is not completely into the NAT segment 100%. So it is better. Now we have come up with the solution from my lab. So the low cost of the equipment to set up the lab routinely, now it is in India, we are actually setting all the labs because of the low cost of the equipment, low cost per test, and we have our own manufactured indigenous smaller machines, that is a compact Excel. So this then provides a correct option, and it is designed in such a way that for India and developing world, it will be a very helpful, specifically for the NAT blood banks. Apart from this, we have CDSCO approval, RT-PCR based individual donor nucleic acid test. And one of the most, as my lab, you know, everyone, that one of the reputed and fastest growing diagnostic manufacturing in India, because we, you have seen many first in Indian manufacturer to develop COVID-19 first. For the antigen test, we come up with the first in India. Again, for the self home test at again the COVID self, the COVID rapid antigen test, again we come up with the first. And why to choose the MyLab with the things to set up the NAT lab is because we provide all automation, robust contamination control facility, ease of use, and the most important thing is the regulatory compliance. We do provide all the regulatory compliance, as well as the product is also regulatory compliance, and we do give all the application support, and from start layout of the blood bank to the complete commencing of the blood bank. So just to show you, this is a small to high throughput labs in India. As you know, the general molecular required around 100 to 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. So we have set up a lab within 100 square feet area. So you can see the revised drawing of blood center. That is a layout you can see on the right hand side. Entire area is almost 2,000 square feet, and in that we have used only around 100 to 150 square feet area to set up a lab. So not only to the high workload labs, we can provide our solution to the low workload labs as well, as where we do daily 18 to 20 samples per day, as well as to 300 to 500 samples per day by scaling up our machines, our solutions to it. So we reduce the space, we reduce the equipment cost, and we reduce the qualified personnel from, like, you know, it is a touch and play kind of machine. So by a single touch, even a normal DMLT or BMLT or grad undergrad can do the processing by using this machine. So in a way, we simplify the molecular lab in a blood bank. So you can see the traditional lab required each and every instrument, a lot of like 5 to 7 instrument you needed uh, in a one room. So lab consumables, that is a recurring consumables like gloves and pipettes, tip box and everything you required in a much more conditions. Whereas by using a lab in a compact Excel, you do required only a machine with the one person who will be handling entire machine from start to end. And as per even the manual errors will be less in case of automation. And finally, the low capex and low opex. So you'll solve the NAT molecular blood bank problems. So this is our one of the customer side. So just to show you the real time how looks like. It's like sample aliquoting area will be a 3 to 4 feet, and then extraction area and the amplification area within a one bench top. You can have a normal partition, and within a 10 feet you can complete your NAT molecular lab. Yeah, so this is how we come up from the 1,000 square feet to the 100 square feet area. And by maintaining without disturbing the quality of the molecular lab, the unidirectional flow and everything that we come up with the solution of NAT